Welcome back, student. In the previous lecture we have started our discussion about transmission line. We have gone through the primary constants of the transmission line and we understood the parameters RLGC, what are the units of the parameter, and certain equations between LC is equal to mu epsilon and G by C is equal to sigma upon epsilon, which is true for every transmission line. Now it's a time to discuss certain more thing, that's the general solution and physical significance of the equation. Along with that, wavelength and velocity of propagation also we will discuss. So what is general solution of the transmission line? See, these solutions are very important for you to understand, but in the examination my recommendation to you is, if this question comes for directly 10 marks, then derive the general solution of the transmission line and give the physical significance. You should know, but you should practice these point as much as you can, so that you can able to write these things in the 15 minutes, because you don't have much time to write those equations in the examination. So in that case, it becomes your prime duty to understand these things clearly and try to practice it more, so that it will be completed within time. Okay, so in the examination, if this question comes that write the general solution of the transmission line, it will be somewhat time consuming, but unless you understand these equations in detail, the further part of the transmission line is very difficult to understand. So a circuit with a distributed parameters requires different method of analysis. Now we have understood the difference between lumped parameter, discrete parameter or distributed parameters. So whenever I am talking about RLGC values of the transmission line, they are distributed over the length of the transmission line and they require different method of analysis. Since a voltage drop occurs each series increment of a line, the voltage applied at each increment of the shunt admittance is variable, and thus the shunted current is a variable along the line. What I mean to say, if I take this particular diagram, first of all, see, I have taken a small section of the transmission line of length ds, and this is the impedance ZDS. See, if the impedance are represented in terms of ohm per meter, if someone asks me what is the impedance of this particular length of the line, it should be Z ohm per meter into ds. Yes or no? Since ds is a line, ds is not an area, ds is the length of this line. So this is a Z, ds is the impedance of this particular transmission line. If I am talking about this transmission line, there must be a admittance associated with it. What is admittance? YDS. Definitely. So every parameter is coming with the multiplication by the length of the transmission line, because the parameters are distributed one, they are not the lumped one. So this is the meaning of this second statement. Hence the line current around the loop is not a constant, but varies from point to point along the line. Definitely though. So the current at this particular point is not exactly the current at this particular point, because there will be a voltage drop across this impedance, there will be a voltage drop across this admittance, and finally we are getting a current. So current IS entering and current IR, which I am able to observe at the load, are not same. So this is the meaning. Differential circuit equations that describe these actions will be written for the steady state. So in the signal and system subject, you might have studied the steady state analysis and transient analysis. So I am talking about steady state analysis for a time being, because we are interested at any time t, that may be in the space t equal to 0 or t equal to t plus 0 plus or t equal to 0 minus. So it is steady state from which general circuit equations can be obtained. So these are the introductory part. Now what are the parameters that we will look after? Capital R. What is this? Series resistance in ohm per meter, series inductance Henry per meter, capital L. C, capacitance in farad per meter. Conductance G is equal to in mho, or it can be also represented in Siemens per meter also. Siemens is the unit of conductance. And omega L. What is this omega? Omega is the angular frequency. Omega equal to 2 pi f. So series reactance ohms per unit length, because it is a omega L, series reactance. Then Z, this is important for us now. Z and Y, because every secondary constant will be represented in terms of Z and Y. So what is Z? Z is equal to R plus J omega L. Why? If you just remember the circuit of the transmission line, it is R, something like this, in series with inductance. So this is R and this is omega L. Why omega L? Because this is a frequency dependent parameter. It is not the constant parameter like R. It depends on at what frequency you are operating. So R plus j omega L. You might be knowing this. So this becomes our capital Z. Z equal to R plus j omega L. Let's talk about a conductance. We have a capacitance followed by conductance. This resistance I am drawing, but it is not resistance, it is conductance. So I am having this as omega C and this as capital G. So what I can write, like R plus j omega L, I can write G plus j omega C. So capital Y is a shunt admittance, it is G plus j omega C. What is omega C? Shunt susceptance. See, omega L is reactance and omega C is susceptance. You might be knowing this. Whenever a capacitance is given to us, there will be a dielectric associated with this, and dielectric will having a certain properties, and how much it is susceptible for the field, it is dependent on this susceptance value. And what is yes? Now this is the important thing to understand. Whenever I am talking about any transmission line and these transmission lines are measured, what is this? Yes is the distance of the point of observation. So if this is a transmission line length, if someone asks you what is yes, yes is always a distance. Remember this point, and this is very straightforward point. Yes is a distance always measured from receiving end of the transmission line. It is not measured from source end, so it is measured from load end. So yes is a distance of the point of the observation measured from receiving end. This is very important. Yes is always a distance measured from receiving end of the transmission line. So let's proceed now. I hope these basic concepts are clear to you. Now, what is capital I? I is the current in the line at any point. So capital I. So this Is is the source current. If it is a generator, let's say a sinusoidal generator which is generating a voltage is applied to this transmission line. So there will be a voltage associated with it Es and current associated with it Is. So this Es and Is are source. They are not related to the distance S. This S is different. So Is is the current given by generator, but I am looking at very small section of the transmission line whose length is ds, and this ds length of a section is taken at a distance S from the receiving end. So this is our receiving end, Rx, or I will say that this is the load end. So this is my load. If this is load, so S is a distance always measured from receiving end or the load end of the transmission line, and from that length, from that distance, the ds length is taken. Is it okay? Now for this length ds, if someone asks me what is the impedance associated, Z, so it is Z is equal to R plus j omega L. So Z into ds, this is the length, because everyone know R is in terms of ohm per meter. So if someone asks me what is the resistance of the transmission line, I need to multiply it with the length. So I will get the total resistance. The length in meter cancel, I am get a resistance in the ohm. Similarly, if I am talking about R plus j omega L, I need to multiply it with the length ds. So it will become Z ds. Similarly, if I am talking about the shunt susceptance Y, it should be Y is the susceptance of this transmission line multiplied by the length. Try to understand. Now, out of this source current Is, there will be some voltage drop across this section of the transmission line, and if I am talking about this very small section of the transmission line, this I current enters here, small I, and this current is entering this small section ds. Is it okay? So I is the current in the line at any point, E, and this E is the voltage associated with this particular point, I and E. Now what is L? L is the length of this transmission line, small l. So figure illustrates a line that in a limit may be considered as made up of cascaded. Cascaded means one after the another. Infinitesimal means very small. T sections. So this is a T section. It can be also represented in the pi section. You might have studied T and pi model in the basic electrical and electronics subject. So this is a T section, one of which is shown. So I am talking about these T sections, and we will have our discussion about this T section only. Okay, so let's start our derivation. So first of all, you just revise the concept what is RLGC once again, and from the next lecture onward we will talk about the derivation actual. So this RLGC, what is Z, what is Y, what is omega C, what is omega L, and what is small s. Once that is known, you just go through this particular diagram of the transmission line, how this diagram is represented, and how we can derive certain expression depending on application of the Ohm's law. We will talk about, and we'll derive the expression for capital E and capital I, and once we derive those expression, we'll have certain equations of the transmission line which we are going to get from next lecture onward. So till this point you just revise those concepts, and from the next lecture onward we'll talk about those derivations in detail. So thank you very much and happy learning.